What I like most about my position throughout this past year is working with Jenna. You know, we like butt heads. No, not really. Oh, okay. What I like most about my position is, I guess, doing something that I've never done before. It was my first year being a part of Fact Council, so I guess just the entire experience in general, figuring out how to pair people up and then setting up, you know, events with Jenna and stuff, and just working together on something that we both never done before. I just like the whole something new kind of thing.
What I like most about my position is just seeing throughout the year how the big and little pairs turn out, like how they interact, how close they've gotten, and just the feeling you get when you know that you're the one who paired them up. So you play a little part in making
just like
Fact
creating
of family,
friends.
Just all the relationships and bonds everyone forms is just tied sort of to us, the membership alumni.
We have to make sure there's food at potlucks, some chicken, some
pick the themes for all the potlucks.
Yeah.
I think the biggest responsibility we have is just in the beginning of the year pairing the big and littles.
Yeah, pairing big and littles. Also, try to keep in touch with alumni. Although it may be difficult just because, you know, sometimes alumni aren't always as responsive as you would like them to be. But we just kind of have to just be persistent. I've been doing membership cards and also
collecting dues.
Yeah, collecting dues.
And along with pairing big and littles, we set up like a week long of fun events for them to have a chance to interact and hang out with each other. We try to give like awards or prizes, have a tribe competition just for tribe points, just to see which tribe will dominate in the end.
The biggest obstacle that I've encountered was probably just getting out to alums, because getting out to the general public that's here isn't hard at all, because, you know, we see them and they're responsive, you know, we can go up to them and talk to them. But just like talking to alums is like, as I said earlier, it's difficult because, you know, they have other lives besides Fact and stuff.
So I guess the most important part about next year is just keeping in touch with alumni, because that's Fact's 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so good.
A lot of just try to email, phone, I don't know, send invites to their address. Just try as many possible ways to get in contact with them as possible, because 20th year of Fact, that's a really big deal.
It only happens one time.
Yeah, so we should try to get as many alumni out as we can.
Yeah.
And then just introduce them to old and new members. Like, I'm pretty sure they'll be really grateful just to see how far Fact has grown.
Get ready for a roller coaster of ups, downs, spins and twirls and dips and water, because it's kind of like a lot of work.
Just make sure start the big and little pairings as soon as possible. It's gonna take like weeks.
That took a while.
Weeks to just pair them up. Like, make sure the surveys are like in depth, so you can just try to pair people up as like close as possible. You can try to pair people up based on like their interests, their likes, and everything. So
yeah, just make it as specific as possible for both bigs and littles, so that way, because again, you don't know them. I mean, you don't know the littles, so you try to just do the best as you can to just please everybody at the same time. And well, our overseer helped us a lot, because he was really just helpful. Like, he wasn't like ever just like, you know, like snappy or whatever. Just kind of just have good communication with whoever you're working with too.
Yeah, if you ever need help, we have the whole council, the whole e-board, everybody. Just they'll be there. They'll help you. That's what we're here for. So just don't be afraid to ask for help. It is a lot of work, so just plan, look at previous events and just plan all the potlucks and assassins, big and little week. Just try to set tentative dates for them in advance, and it'll just make your whole like school year a lot easier, because like when tests come and then you still have to plan everything, it's just gonna bottle you down. So if you just start early, plan everything in advance, and just don't ever lag behind, you'll be perfectly fine.
When I first applied for it, that was my first choice, and then I got it. So The reason I applied was because I'm passionate about serving the community, and it was actually like a really cool experience learning to interact with other businesses and talking to people on the phone, and it really helps you develop like your skills to talk to other people that you don't really talk to, I guess, or adults, like real adults.
I really like how Helen said that it really helps if you're passionate about community service, and I guess fundraising will come afterwards. And what I really liked about this position is that we were able to make ourselves known not only as a cultural organization, but as like an organization that's part of VCU and a part of Richmond. So the Fact Constitution says that we're responsible for at least one community service event and one fundraising event once a month. That's what you aim for. It doesn't work out every month. Usually it does, but
I know like during winter, it's either really cold or like we have winter break that lasts like 2 months. So you can't really like make that possible. We are kind of like one of the sources where FACT gets its funding. So we try our best to like fundraise a lot so that we can have the money to like have events and host, you know, really cool events throughout the year. So
I think like one of our unspoken roles as chairs for this is that we have to make it fun and like make it make people interested, because I know that, you know, some of our fundraising events, they were a little boring and they were long and people got tired, but yeah, so just make it fun and interesting.
Lots.
Lots of things that had to do with charity ball.
Communication problems, trying to get businesses to be interested in hosting like fundraising events,
and I think like,
just scheduling problems.
Yeah,
timing.
Definitely. And I think like since this is one of the chairs that kind of networks with other businesses, it's been hard to, I guess, remain professional. Right, because you do represent FACT when you go talk to the people and like, can we host a community service event or like a fundraising event here? So
I hope you're passionate about serving others. If you are not, then a lot of I'm not gonna say like you have to be passionate about it, but
it's easier.
Yeah,
it comes a lot easier if you're passionate.
Right, it's easier, and whatever trouble you may face along the way, you'll know that it's going to be worth it to like get over them. Be humble and try not to be too prideful and be like, this is how I wanted things, but it didn't work out that way, and just don't get frustrated by things like that, because it's going to happen all the time.
Yeah, be dispensable, I think is the right word. Open to new ideas from other people, because other people they'll know about other community service or fundraising events, but also be willing to like let go of whatever you think, how you think something should go.
Yeah. Always self-reflect. Like just be like, is this really worth, you know, like fighting for? I mean, there are some ideas, yes, you have to fight for them. But there are some things, it's like, am I being stubborn or am I, you know, doing it for a fact? Everything needs to be done for fact.
Ultimately.
When people come up to me, Nursa, after the meeting, and they just tell us like, hey man, like I really felt what you were talking about. And when we were funny with it too, they're like, yeah, I really felt it. It really hit me emotionally, and like you guys made it really interesting. Just hearing the general body react to the things we teach and the things that we just talk about is a really good experience.
Yeah, my favorite thing about being culture liaison is actually the work that we put forth into it. Doing the actual research for every lesson, for every cultural cafe. We just learned so much, and I think the most used phrase that Kirby and I use during our research is, that's so crazy, because that's what the Filipino culture is. It's so vast and it's so amazing, and you just learn so much, and it's so rewarding. Our responsibilities as cultural liaisons, we're basically the liaisons for culture, for a fact. We do our cultures based off the Standardizing Filipino-American Studies, which is basically a list of general topics that we base our lessons on.
The SFAST themes, they range from history of the Philippines all the way to activism and advocacy and outreach and like reaching out to other people.
It's a really good basis of how we're going to run our lessons and basically how to try and hit every aspect of the culture.
I feel like it's probably the stuff we had to do over the summer because when you're in council, you work with somebody else and you're not always privileged to be like in the same city as them during summer. So when you have to work on things, you have to like do it over Skype or over text or over phone, and it's just not the same as meeting with someone. Yeah, and like just planning things like that over the summer can get really hard, but in the end, like when it works out, it's just like any other event. It's just like, man, that was tight.
I think the biggest obstacle we had, but was also the most rewarding, was probably Barrio Fiesta. It was the first complex event of the year, and Cultural Liaisons are responsible for running that event. Basically, it's exactly what it entails. It's a complex event. So there's a lot of things that go into it. You have to plan for food, performances, venue, and things like that. But luckily, we were able to be part of a great council that was able to help us out and create a successful event.
Ooh, follow your heart. Go for every position that you think will just be sweet and that will make you be like, man, what I'm doing is fun. What I'm doing a lot for fact, and I'm glad I'm doing it. If you like being someone who likes planning things, do something like social. If you like talking to people, if you like making videos, then do PR. Just do your craft.
I guess my advice would be do what's best for fact. Apply for what you are able to accomplish with your workload, like, because you know we have school and you might also have other responsibilities or duties that you need to take care of. You don't want to slack off on anything that you apply for because this is a team. We are only as strong as our weakest player, so it's really important for fact that we have a strong council.
Not that kind of responsibility that nags you. It's the kind of responsibility that you want to do. I think that's my favorite part of it.
You really get to make your position. I mean, sure, you know that like you're responsible for the script and the committees and like everyone, I guess, that gets involved later. You don't really know what will happen until it actually does happen. So I guess the best thing about Culture Night is you don't really know what to expect, and that's not always a bad thing. I remember going into it like I was told most of the worst case scenarios that could ever happen. Like, you know, they found their venue 2 or 3 days before the show, and once they had to even switch with another student organization to get the Culture Night show in the ballrooms as a very last resort. So if anything, just know that whatever happens, happens, and just embrace change and just welcome it, come to expect it. And it's, I guess, like another good thing about Culture Night is like, I guess, being creative and working with people and just, I guess, seeing people become inspired and seeing people like develop their love of fact through Culture Night and even get more involved. There's really so much to say about it. It's really what you make of it. I think that's the one thing though.
As a Culture Night chair, you and your 2 other co-chairs split up the tasks between the logistics of it, finding a venue, contacting different people for different necessities. You work with your treasurer to budget everything that you're gonna need. You work with a script committee and you write a script, and then you cast a show and you direct it, and you divide subcommittees for dance and costumes and all those different aspects, and you put it together. It's a lot of work.
As Culture Night chair, you are responsible for organizing the exhibition of Fact at VCU. And I say organizing and not making, because just because you're Culture Night chair, it doesn't mean that it's solely yours. Culture Night belongs to Fact at VCU as an organization, and as Culture Night chair, you are the one that is in charge of bringing everyone together and putting all their ideas and creativity together and bringing it into fruition.
As Culture Night chair, you know you're responsible for the script, you're also responsible for finding the venue. So this year we had it at Armstrong High School. The last year before us, it was at Maggie Walker. So find your venue, find it early. You're also responsible for, I guess, like getting the committee set up, the acting workshops, the dance workshops. Dance workshops were a new thing, and it's totally up to you guys if you want to do it again. Culture night screenings, that's something that started, I think, the year before us, but again, also up to you. Just, I guess, as far as responsibilities go, like, no, you're not alone. You're sharing the responsibilities with your 2 other co-chairs, and I guess working with the other, like, council members as needed, and making sure that everybody feels important and everybody is, like, involved that wants to be involved. Get everyone who wants to be involved, give them that chance to be involved, and just empower others. Use this position to get people, like, as creative as they want to be, or like show how talented they are. This is the best outlet to do that, and you have all the freedom to do it. So I guess aside from the, actually making Culture Night happen, just make sure that everyone who wants to get involved has the opportunity to get involved, and do that in the best power you have.
This one's easy. Communication. I got to work with 2 people, not just one, like a lot of the other positions. But that being said, it's also really difficult to communicate between the 3 of you guys and with your executive board and your overseer, because that's really important too. Communication is everything, because otherwise you guys are just all disoriented and nothing really flows, and you just get really frustrated. So communicate.
Seeing as Culture Night is the only tri-chair position, there have been personally many obstacles for the 3 of us this year with communication, and that's because while the other chairs, there's only 2. Obviously, there's one more person, so you have to be proactive and respectful of the fact that you need to be honest with not only your 2 other co-chairs, but with your overseers and with the rest of council, because everyone has to work as a team, and you constantly have to be on the same page with everyone, or else it's not going to work as smoothly as it should.
I wouldn't say there's like a big obstacle that happened to us during Culture Night, aside from like, okay, well, this was out of our control, but I guess like SGA and the budget, that really had an effect on what we were able to do. Oh, before that, okay, sorry. As you know, our show was March 22nd this year. That's really early. So from the whole time we were at Culture Night, like Culture Nighting, we started in June of last year. We were under this time pressure crunch, and just realized that no matter when your show is, like, no matter, like, just don't get too stressed to the point where, like, it'll affect people's morale. We definitely had, like, some times where, like, morale was low because we were all pressured and tired and working so hard because we did full run-throughs, like, up to 4 weeks before the show, and it was crazy and it got stressful, and just keep your responsibility in, like, keeping that morale in check. Also, SGA budgeting thing, I don't know if you'll hear about it later, but that's kind of out of our control, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. I guess like a reoccurring thing that happened with us 3 is communication and working as a unit. There were times where the messages we gave out to people weren't consistent, and delaying in communication between the 3 of us would prevent other things from getting done. So, like, as previous Culture Night chairs will tell you, communication is a really big thing. Communication and morale, and I guess whatever problems that come up, since you never know what will come up, just be willing to roll with it, and you are not alone, okay? I know if you watch our show from last year, you'll hear that, but you really aren't. Don't take up, like, everything on you to the point where you feel overwhelmed and that there's no way out, because that's gonna affect everybody in the show, whether you realize it or not. Just keep your heart in it and never forget why you're doing it.
I know that becoming a culture night chair seems scary and it seems intimidating. And it is, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work, but I think that you've already put in the first step by applying, or if you're going to apply, can you edit that out?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I would say just remind yourself why you applied for this position, always. Times are going to get stressful and you're going to get frustrated and you're not going to remember why you did this or why you signed up for it, but keep that in mind. Keep in mind how culture night, being involved in it this past year, if it's your first year or whatever your experience may be, keep that in mind and use it to drive you, because there's a reason why you signed up for it. So just remember it.
My advice for incoming applicants would be fearless, but at the same time be respectful. You're going in this as applying for yourself, but at the same time, you're gonna have 2 other co-chairs, and you'll have the same amount of ambition and the same amount of passion for your job. However, people have their own strengths, so you really do have to be able to work with other people, but at the same time, don't give up on your own ideas or your own wants for the show.
For you who are thinking or considering of being culture night chair, just my biggest advice is to never lose sight of why you're doing it. It can be so hard sometimes when you feel stressed and when you feel like you can't take care of anything or even yourself. Like, just remember why you're doing it, like why you want this. Also make sure to talk to like as many past culture night chairs as you can, or even the alumni, because culture night is something that we do every year. It's something that continually brings people back to our organization, whether they've taken a break from FACT or are just joining. It is like what we show to other organizations or to our parents and families after like a whole year of all these events. In fact, this is what we're also showing to the D7 schools, like what our organization is like. Just remember to like preserve the good elements of that, and don't be afraid of criticism. Don't be afraid to like welcome creativity wherever it comes. Don't be worried about losing control, because as long as you are working with people who are doing what's best for FACT, then the show will be amazing. So if anything, don't lose faith in why you want to be culture night chair. It's an amazing experience and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Oh yeah, another thing, culture night, it'll be like your boyfriend or girlfriend or best friend, or like even more than that. Culture night will become a part of you. There are days I remember waking up and sleeping culture night, and throughout the day I'd be like texting about culture night. Like, this job does not sleep, okay? Maybe on weekends you can get a break, like, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's like the break you have between Friday and Sunday might be like maybe part of Saturday. But don't be scared, because when you're doing it, you won't really realize how much it's gonna eat your life, but you're gonna love it because you love FACT enough to want this position, and you'll love culture night.
My favorite part about being a D7 rep is how easy it is to really get into the Find national family, and I really like how we are like the catalyst for everyone else to get to know other people in D7 and all the other districts from D1 through D6. And I just think it's really cool that we are the people who give others the opportunity to meet a greater group of individuals and to see the bigger picture of what Find National really is.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about being a District 7 representative is being able to kind of be the face of your district and of your school. And I like how we are pretty much the first point of contact for every school to kind of want to collab with us. And I really like being able to work with everyone in the District 7 family, the District 7 family, and just kind of being immersed into all of Find's activities. As District 7 rep, we are the points of contact. No, okay. As District 7 rep, we are the person that...
Okay, we are the people who are responsible for encouraging the participation of FACT at VCU in D7 and in national events. So like conference and dialogue, we are the people who really like bring the enthusiasm and really bring the numbers to these events. And we also help with the planning of D7 Olympics, any D7 general body meetings that we might hold, like the kerfuffle. If we were to do that again in the future, we would help with the planning of that. And also, we are the individuals who really we're just the ones who PR and encourage the participation and try to keep the member retention and the overall like love for D7 and for Find.
Yeah, as D7 reps. Like Rita said, we want to encourage like the intermingling of every school in District 7 and in turn have all of District 7 kind of interact and but we want District 7 to network with every other school in the district and in every district a part of Fund.
And we're the liaisons of FACT. So we are the people who bring together all the information from the other schools within the district. And with that, we take that information and bring it to our general body and hope that they will like respond positively.
As District 7 rep, you will be having bi-weekly meetings with the other district representatives
and e-board.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's really great. Yeah. Okay, mine would definitely be the downfall of Fine Dialogue this past year. It was just a bunch of things that were out of our control, and what happened was that like dialogue just didn't happen due to just a series of unfortunate circumstances. And I think what really was hard for us as D7 reps was that the blame game was being played a lot, not to us per se, but like to national and stuff, and it was just things that like were really out of their control. And I think what happened with dialogue not happening was that there was a bit of a downfall in the overall morale of D7. So and that just kind of went on for a little while, but I really think that with Fine Conference, the spirits like really did increase. So there are some things that you will face as D7 rep that you personally have nothing, that you can't do anything about, but it's just a matter of keeping up the spirits despite any issues that come up. And I think aside from that, since that was something I really couldn't control, I really wish that that somehow we can fix the obstacle of schools not being able to support each other at culture shows. I think that's something we really try to stress, but again, that can still be something that we can't control, but it is something that we can encourage a lot more in the future, so it's something we don't have to face as a district.
Yeah, I completely agree with because Fine Dialogue had a fall through, it kind of had this huge snowball effect where people they didn't want to get involved with District 7 as much because what if conference fell through again, or what if conference fell through? That wouldn't make me want to get involved because it's not gonna work out anyway. But
yeah,
honestly, it's all about finding the effort or finding the it's like you want to. Okay, wait. No, I had it. Trust me. It's like you want to be motivated and you want to make the decision to find dialogue and find conference a product of your own. And the biggest obstacle is going to be finding the right people, or finding a good amount of good-hearted people to want to kind of want to collaborate with you, to work with the other schools to make something as big as conference to be successful.
And it was.
PR the crap out of your Facebook. Everyone will be online, and it's going to be one of your main points of contact to your fellow general body, and you kind of want to be annoying about it, but it shows that you want them to be involved with every school in District 7.
I get my biggest piece of advice is to really, the only thing I can say this, because this will help everything else in the long run, is to keep the D7 love alive. So many people and so many alumni talk about like how D7 was such this great thing before, and I think what we really need to focus on is that we love what we have in D7, that we really cherish what we do have, and that we're thankful for whatever interactions, any opportunities that we've gotten so far. And it's just, if you keep that love alive, and if you keep that, you really keep that passion for D7, everything else will fall into place after that. As a D7 rep, like, you are the reason why people want, like, you have to want to be the reason why people want to be involved with D7. So as long as you show them the heart, that you have the compassion, that you have the drive, that you have the spirit for D7 and for any event that is relative to D7, then other people, that will resonate with other people, and you as a D7 rep should be the reason why people, or like the driving force for your organization and for D7 to come to national events, to come to district events. And yeah, so just keep it burning in your heart, and to keep showing people that you have the heart for D7, and everyone else will follow after.
Just know that you're gonna be District 7 rep, so you have the power to encourage people to be recognized nationally. So that's a pretty big deal. Like, as District 7 rep, you will be known throughout every district and find. And
or you want to make yourself known to every district.
No, I think you will, if you put in the right amount of work.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Pew!
D what?
D7! Yeah.
Oh, one more piece of advice. To do the District 7 sign, first you make a B, put it to your heart. Well, kind of turn it around and put it to your heart. Make an L, oh wow. Yeah, make a capital L, put it down, put it near your heart. District 7's where the heart is.
Yeah! Woo! D7! Yeah!
Yeah.
You should have done the D7 handshake that we have. But you probably can't even see it on it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's like,
Yeah. It's kind of like down here, but
how do we like show it?
how do we do it?
Like,
Isn't that awesome? Yeah.
Honestly, just taking photos. That's what me and Sarah love doing. I don't know. I just really like capturing moments too, like funny moments that people can look back on. It's just something nice to look back on. Some memories, basically. As a historian, you have to come to every event and take pictures. So you're basically documenting that specific time. Historian Challenge, which she just came up with this year. This is just a fun way to get people involved and win tribe points. So right now we have this event called Swap. This is where we take 2, 3, 4 people and they all swap clothes. Each applicant, or each person who turns in something, gets a tribe point. In the past, we've had more than taking pictures. We've had people create things from scratch. We've had people submit videos, and people seem to enjoy it. We also do recap videos. So each meeting we have a recap of what happened before that meeting, a compilation of those photos, and we just show it to the general body during that meeting. And also, we're not just historians, we're not just people that take pictures. We also fulfill the duty of a council member.
At the end of the year, we'll have the end of the year potluck, and you'll have the responsibility to make a scrapbook of all the events that we've had the past year. And you're in charge of superlatives for the seniors, and you're also in charge of the senior photo shoot for upcoming seniors that are graduating that year.
I'd have to say the biggest obstacle that we both encountered was that we both have moments where we can't come to an event and we
have
take
conflicting
pictures.
schedules usually, especially since I'm a senior. But usually if I can't make it to an event, I have Sarah come in for me and so on. So if she can't make it to an event, I'll try to make it as well.
And if neither of us can make it to an event, there's always someone that's going to be there that can still take photos.
Have fun, so cliche.
Always have a spare battery.
Always.
And make sure you recharge your battery before
or have
any
a spare
event.
camera.
Yeah.
You can use your phone too.
Also have an extra SD card because you never know how many pictures you're gonna take.
Exactly. Also, you don't need a fancy camera. Your iPhone or phone will work as long as you take pictures of the event and capture each moment. Oh yeah, don't expect people to say thank you to you. Make sure to stay humble, and if someone asks to take a picture, take it for them. And if they don't say thank you, just... Historian it's a difficult job sometimes because not everyone's gonna appreciate what you're doing, and you're just gonna have to keep a positive attitude and make sure that your mindset is for this organization.
Same.
I like PR.
Oh, I like working with photo and video editing software and letting everyone know when events are.
I like making events. For you.
I know what they are.
I know what they are.
Go ahead, tell them.
To inform the general body about the upcoming events that we have planned for them.
Your responsibilities as PR are, but are not limited to, creating promo events, promo material such as flyers, videos, and graphics, and also making sure that the general body knows when and where events are on time, not the day before or when it's going on.
When we get our event forms late and we don't have time to notify the general body when the event occurs.
The biggest obstacle is trying to be fresh and original all the time. It's hard to continue with new ideas.
You always have to be punctual. Punctual.
Just make sure that you and your co-chair communicate all the time, talk to each other at least 4 times a week or whenever there's an event.
Always try to remind your council members to turn in their event forms early, because it's gonna happen when they just forget about it, and eventually you're gonna have to make an event, and the next day that's when the event happens, and you're kind of like, oh, PR, what's up?
But it's also fun. It's really fun. When your video's up on the screen during the meeting, everyone's having a good time watching it. It just...
What I like most about my position is that you're really free to have the creative license to do as little or as much as you want in the organization. But it's really all depending on how you feel and the direction that what's going on is going towards, if that makes sense.
Yeah, my favorite part of senior advisor is what Lee said, you're free on how you want to help, and also you're free to help all the positions on council. So you get a taste of all the positions on council, because I know Lee did culture night, and what else did he do?
That's about it.
Culture night. And so he could help with D7, and stuff like that. And I was D7 rep, and I like hearing stuff about like cultural liaison stuff. So being free to help all the other positions is probably the best thing about being senior advisor.
My opinion is that your responsibility is you get elected into this position because you're a senior, of course, and what that entails is that you've had the most experience in the organization. So if there's anything that kind of irks you in a certain manner or bugs you, then it's your responsibility to go up to someone and like facilitate what's going on and make it better, or to allow things to change, yes, but to also have the same feeling that you got when you were a freshman and what actually pulled you into the organization. So that's what I think is our biggest responsibility, is to maintain that same pull factor to the org. The biggest obstacle, I think, is you're obviously a senior, of course, so you're kind of more likely to put your studies and your workload in front of the organization. Well, that was my case, I guess. Yeah.
What was the biggest obstacle?
Another obstacle of mine was like having like visions of one that I wanted to do, but then just not going through with it because maybe of a workload or because you didn't want to change too much or like say, no, what you're doing is wrong. You wanted them to be free to do, or the council members, you want them to have the freedom to do exactly what they wanted and not having to, you know, what is it called? To interfere with their creative processes.
Yeah, it's like FACT has had so many successful events that you want these events to be just as successful as they were in the past, but you also want them to put their own twist on it, you know, like if they wanted to do something new, you want them to be able to speak up and be able to have their creative input in that, because that's the only way FACT will grow. So as senior advisor, it's kind of like you're taking a step back and making sure that they're not repeating the steps that we have made in the past, but they're also making new advances to make all the FACT events like even more better and even bigger than they were in the past. My advice is to be there for support. Sometimes FACT or sometimes council, they forget the bigger picture because they're so busy with their position. But if you're there, you have to be their #1 cheerleader and make sure that they're reassured that they're doing their job well.
Another form of more advice would be, oh, I just had it. Oh man. Oh. You're being elected to this position because you're a senior and because you're going to be looked at as someone who has the most experience. So with that, I would say just make sure the org looks good. Know that being in an organization, whatever you do, if you're wearing a shirt like this, they will automatically assume that everyone in this org acts like you do. So, with that being said, you should uphold an image for the organization that would look good, not only for FACT, for VCU, or for the Filipino race, or whatever race you are, or ethnicity, denomination, but just make yourself look good and professional when being seen to the world, whether it be through social networking or like being clean in the commons or being clean in the theater. Clean up and cover up, I guess. I don't know. Shoot, I don't know how to explain it.
That's good. That's good advice, senior advisor.
I try. What else do you got? What do you got? I really want to say something.
I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, you do. You got something.
You got everything. You're good.
Advice.
for senior advisors? I don't know.
Make sure everyone on council, or one thing you can do is make sure people's everyone's well-being on council is good. So you could play the counselor position, like, hey man, yeah.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
You doing okay?
The complex event is coming up. Are you okay? Are you doing everything all right?
Do you need help?
Yeah. Do that little extra bit, because Lord knows I didn't. So you should. Or did I?
I think you did.
I don't know.
And also, my last advice for senior advisor is that this is your last year, so make sure you take the opportunity to be as involved as you can in every FACT event possible, because this is a really special organization in all of our hearts, and next year will be alumni.
Savor it.
Savor every moment of it.
And love each other. Thumbs up, fact.
What I like most about our position is probably the fact that we get to be exactly what we are, social. We get to meet everybody in fact. Everybody knows who we are, and we basically know who everybody in fact is, whether they're new, whether they're old, whether they've already graduated. So yeah, that's my favorite part, meeting people.
I like how creative you can get with it, because other than like the set events that you have to do every year, you can kind of just do whatever and just kind of see how people react to it. Like, honestly, my favorite events this year were events that I didn't think would blow up the way that they did, like game night and bowling and stuff. So it gives you a lot of room to just kind of do whatever with it and then just have fun. Yeah, swag. Also, you're gonna hate every event that you're a part of because it's never gonna be satisfying.
But it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Everyone's gonna like it, and you're gonna be like, I didn't like that event at all.
Yeah, that was bad. But everyone's gonna be like, oh, you're wonderful.
Yeah,
you're great.
leave all of our caddy stuff in there. That'd be hilarious.
As social chairs, the responsibilities that we have, we are supposed to have one social event a month, and that is including the summertime. So yeah, that's fun, going right into summer. And
pretty much you're kind of able to do whatever you want, but you have to stick with some like set events. Like, you gotta have a Nova Day, you gotta have a beach day, you gotta do talent night, you gotta do the Mr. Miss Fact pageant. What else am I missing?
End of the year.
Oh yeah, the end of the semester, end of the year dinners, and then field day.
And the Mr. and Miss Fact pageant and our talent night are actually complex events that we have on campus. And those are really strenuous to put on, but they're very rewarding. And just to see everybody come together at those events and to know that you guys put on a good show, like that's one of the most amazing parts, is social. So yeah, those are some of our requirements.
Yeah.
Working with other people. Luke and I work really great together as social chairs, but when we have to work with other people who volunteered to be a part of our complex events, like Talent Night and Mr. and Miss Fact, trying to keep them organized and on the same sync as us is very difficult, but it's manageable at the same time.
Wait, what was the question again?
What's the biggest obstacle you've encountered?
The biggest one for me is just like balancing fact with school, because like 90% of the time, like this year, I felt like my major was fact and then my minor was what I was studying. So when you like take a step back and realize like, oh, every event on my calendar is a fact event except for like 2 tests. It's like, that's kind of like the crazy thing for me, is just keeping up with everything and having to like, you know, be ready to like let someone know what's going on within the organization and stuff, because it's kind of like it's kind of like an unwritten job at that point. It's just like knowing everything and just like being able to like talk about everything that's going on and stuff.
My advice to incoming applicants is don't be afraid of what you think you're getting yourself into. Honestly, you don't really know what the job entails. Like, we can tell you all that we want and we can give you as much description as we want, but you're not gonna really know what you're getting into until you actually just dive in. But like, don't be afraid to just jump in the deep end and start swimming, because the things that you will create and the events that you will have, sometimes they surprise us. And I think that Luke would agree with me when I say that. And yeah, that's my one piece of advice. Just do it.
For me, it's from like day one, break the ice with your co-chair and just become friends with them, because you're gonna spend like so much time together just working on stuff that like you guys need to be like super tight to like manage all the stress and all the work and stuff. And like, honestly, I don't think I could have gone through this whole like year without Monique as my co-chair, and that wouldn't have happened if like we didn't just like become friends like almost like immediately.
And also, kind of just to piggyback off of that, another piece of advice I'd say is just to always work with your co-chair. Never do anything by yourself. Of course, you could split up the workload, but when you guys are working together, that's when the best, like, that's when the magic happens, I guess you could say.
What I like most about my position is working with a whole bunch of people and showing them my passion for other sports and teaching.
Right, the answer too? You too?
You like us?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You like the same.
I like being able to work with different people and trying to get them to work hard and try and do something they thought they couldn't do. It helps me accomplish big things, all while having fun. Our main responsibilities are forming teams within VCU intramurals, planning sports-related events for FACT, and this includes actually making the teams, working together, trying to get people to work together.
Just pretty much 2 intramural sports every semester. We're in charge of the Winter Football Classic hosted by Tech UVA each year. You could also have other sporting events with other schools or orgs within VCU, and also holding other council responsibilities. Having so much interest within one intramural sport and having to turn down people, because you want to include everyone and make sure they all have fun for each member, but obviously for a certain team they're going to have like a cap size, so just telling people no they can't play is kind of hard.
I think sometimes it's hard for, like, as everyone, our competitive natures come out a little too much, and at the end of the day we have to remember we're just playing to have fun as friends. We're not, winning's great, but I mean at the end of the day we're just trying to have fun.
My advice is to have fun. I know Sylvan and I had a lot of fun this year coaching football, basketball, the football invitational, and also the other like the dodgeball tournaments. We also had fun, but we also like worked really well together, and that was probably my most memorable part was working with Sylvan.
I would say don't be afraid to lead. People, everyone on the field, everyone looks up to you. You're the one calling the shots. You're the one in charge of this team. So don't be afraid to think outside the box. Add a little pizzazz to you, like what the typical standard thing of what to do with. I can't even speak. Should I keep going, or should I just restart that whole one?
Whatever you want.
You want time with me?
What?
You want time with me? Yeah.
What?
Okay.
What was I saying?
Wait, can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, well, another piece of advice that I had was, it's to be open-minded. I know Sylvan and I didn't really know much about football coming into the school year, and we had help from a lot of general members that knew a lot more football because they played in high school or they played for a lot of teams before. So having their kind of experience and their knowledge through football helped us become better leaders because they helped us with certain drills or what we needed to work on that we didn't have in the past.
Another thing I would say is bring energy to everything it is, whether it's just practice, whether a meeting, or actual game time. It all shows on the field how much effort you put in this, how much enthusiasm, and it spreads to everyone around you. So be excited with sports as sports chair and have fun with it.
What I liked most about my position was that I got to play Twitter-based God, and I was speaking to general members and retweeting them and replying to them like the fact deity, the deity of fact deity. That means God. G-O-D, lowercase G-O-D. It's not specific to anything. It wasn't Buddhism. It was factism. My responsibilities as Webmaster include maintaining the Instagram, the Twitter. You don't have to do the Tumblr anymore because I integrated the blog into the new Fact website. That was a big responsibility too, but that was alleviated a lot, hopefully by me, because it's new and it's easy. The biggest obstacle was going to the events and actually using the Instagram, but I had other agents help me out that no one in council knows about, Andy Masfor. And I had, the biggest obstacle was making the new website. To make it easy for you, the next person, Webmaster. Be enthusiastic about the Instagram. You have to take good pictures, or if you want to take good pictures, give it to someone who can take good pictures. For being the Twitter-based God, be objective, be kind, try to address different various members, address that spring break is coming, tell them to be safe and drive safe. No cussing, be professional. For the new website, just know how to hit submit. Luke and Monique are laughing at me, and Bam is smiling too.